Percussion guns, compression boots, red light, cold plunges. The market for recovery tools has never been bigger. And it's also never been harder to know which ones actually have results and which ones are just straight up gimmicks and belong in the trash. I'm Ty, the recovery guy. I'm a licensed massage therapist, certified personal trainer, and certified nutrition coach. I personally work with athletes day in and day out, from professional to weekend warriors, so I know which of these recovery tools shows the best results and isn't just a gimmick. Today, I'm taking the top 10 recovery tools, and I'm going to give you a professional and definitive tier list from S tier to F tier. What criteria am I judging the recovery tools on? Easy. Cost, ease of use, and effectiveness. So if it is cheap, easy to use, and very effective, that's an S tier. If it's expensive, hard to use, and doesn't have results, that's F tier. You're gonna wanna stick around, watch this entire video, because the items that end up in F tier and D tier are probably not the items you think they are. Let's figure out what the top 10 recovery tools even are. We've got the percussion gun or massage gun, foam roller, lacrosse ball, red light therapy, a sauna, cold plunges, cupping, hot stones, compression boots, and TENS or electrical stimulation. And I'm going to work my way right to left on this one. So backwards of reading. Let's start off with the TENS unit or electrical stimulation. This one's going to be a little harder to rank because you can buy items from $10 and they're very ineffective and not helpful at all, to hundreds of dollars that are very effective but very hard to use, and you need training on it. So I'm going to go for the middle of the road of one that you can buy for about $100 online and use yourself without training. For the price point of $100, while that's not bad, you do have to buy replacement adhesive patches so that you can continue to use the equipment. It also can be pretty hard to use it on your back, your glutes, or even the back of your shoulder without somebody helping you. And then for effectiveness, electrical stim is very effective for some people, and some people it doesn't help them at all. So I would rank it for pure effectiveness around a B tier. For price point, a C tier, and then for ease of use, that's closer to a D minus. So shooting for the average on that, I would put the electrical stim right in between C and D tier. So it's a C minus, D plus. It's going to be good, but it's a lot better if you're using it with someone else. Let's move on to compression boots. Compression boots are some of the most commonly used recovery tools I see in the gym, athletic training rooms, and even on social media. For price point, you can buy compression boots from $100 that will break after 10 uses to thousands of dollars. So for this one, I'm gonna go middle of the road again at $500 to $600, which are Normatec boots, a very good brand and will last a long time. Because it's a one-time purchase and you'll be able to use them forever, the price point of $500 gets better the longer you use it, but it still is a hefty initial investment. So for price point, I'm going to rank it right around C tier. For effectiveness, compression boots are very effective at moving fluid around your body, not very effective at removing tension from the muscle. So if you're an endurance athlete, these could be super beneficial for you, but there are probably better options like a recumbent bike at the gym or going out for a walk. Those actions also pump blood throughout your body using your own body, so you didn't have to buy anything. So for effectiveness of recovery, it does land right around C tier because it's just moving blood around your body, not so much removing tension from your body. And then ease of use, that is actually an A tier item because you just put them on, turn it on, and sit and relax, and the machine takes care of the rest for you. So if I'm averaging out all my rankings, I would probably put compression boots slightly higher than a TENS unit, and it's going to land right in between a B and C tier. The thing that holds it back from being a full-on B tier is the investment into it. $500 is a lot of money. If you can find some compression boots on a deal for $250 or even $300 from a reputable brand, that lands it in a B tier, and I would recommend buying them. Let's move on to hot stones. Looking at the price point for hot stones, you can get a solid set of hot stones off Amazon for anywhere from $30 to $50. And for that price, that's an A tier. That's less than a massage, less than a targeted session massage, and you own it forever, and unless you break the stones, you have them. Ease of use for hot stones is actually going to land closer to an F tier, but not quite. I'm going to give it a D, because you can only reach the front of your body very easily, maybe some of your neck, but your entire back you can't do by yourself. You need someone else to help you. For effectiveness, I'm going to probably rank hot stones right about B tier. And that's because they are going to help relieve a lot of your tension, and the only thing preventing them from getting to A tier is there are better options. Hot pads or heating pads are a lot less likely to burn you or break, and that's why I would recommend a heating pad or a hot pack over a hot stone any day, but they are very effective. So if I'm going to average out all my rankings, hot stones land right in D tier. They're not amazing when you're using them by yourself. When you have a massage therapist to use them on you, they are definitely an A tier item. But if you're using them by yourself, they're probably a D tier. Moving on to cupping sets. The price point for cupping sets ranges from $50 to $120, and it depends on if you're getting plastic or silicone. I recommend silicone for anybody using cupping on themselves, so that's going to land around $85 to $80, which is about the price of a 1-hour massage with an average massage therapist. The main difference is you own the cups and you get to use them forever. And if they're silicone, they're probably not going to break. The price point for cupping is going to be an A tier because it's not expensive and you can use them forever. For ease of use, cupping actually lands in F tier because it has the same limitations as hot stones. You can only cup what you can reach, which excludes your entire back, a lot of the back of your leg because you can't see what you're doing. And on top of the limitations of reaching areas is having training for cupping is going to make it way more effective. So for ease of use, F tier. For effectiveness, this can range wildly. I have some people who cupping is the best thing I can do for them. I have some people that cupping will actually injure them, and I should never do it for them. While it is very effective at taking tension out of the muscle, it can cause soreness, bruising, and be very uncomfortable. So for cupping and effectiveness, using it on yourself is going to drop down to a D tier. So we have our first F tier item when we go to averages. Cupping is not the best choice for a self-recovery tool. Moving on to cold plunges. Cold plunges for the price can range from $100 all in, getting you a barrel, filling it with water, filling it with ice, to tens of thousands of dollars getting one installed in your home. Because I highly doubt anyone is just going to spend a willy-nilly tens of thousands of dollars getting one installed, I'm going to go with the cheapest option, which lands right around $80 to $100. For that price point, that's pretty good. That lands it in B tier though, because you do have to buy ice or use ice, make ice, replenish your ice. You have to sanitize, you have to fill it with water, and just general maintenance. So B tier. For ease of use, and I've already touched on some of this, I'm going to rank it a C tier. And that's because you do have to buy ice, sanitize it, and actually go out and get in that cold water, which is very hard in and of itself. And then ranking for effectiveness. Cold plunges are very effective at reducing inflammation in the body and reducing swelling in your tissues. While it could be an A tier for effectiveness, I'm going to give it a B tier because it does slow the healing process. If I take out all my rankings and average them, cold plunges are our first solid B tier item, especially if you're buying a cheaper option. If you're buying the more expensive option, you know it works for you, you know it's already an S tier. But for all us regular Joes, that bucket filled with ice, that's a B tier recovery tool. All right, we're halfway through the list. Let's keep going. Moving on to a dry sauna. Dry saunas, for the price point, you can buy them for $300, but I highly recommend you don't because it's not going to be quality. I would recommend spending anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 or more on your sauna. And I recommend that price point so that it's going to be a high quality unit and actually be at the heat you need it to be at to be effective. For a price point of $1,000 plus, that's gonna land in D tier because you can buy a package of massages for that and have yourself better recovered for months. So because the initial investment is so high and you have to pay to operate it with electricity, that lands it in a D tier. For ease of use in the sauna, that's actually an S tier because all you have to do is go inside and sit down for 10 minutes. So that's an S tier. For the effectiveness of saunas, that is also an S tier. It helps vasodilation, so moving more blood throughout your body, helps reduce tension in the muscles by dilating the muscles and expanding them. There are thousands of studies. Just search Finland sauna studies. Saunas work, scientifically proven. So if I'm averaging out 2 S tiers and 1 D tier, I'm gonna have to put it in C tier. The only reason it's not in A tier is because it is expensive. Moving on to red light panels. And I'll start off with, I am affiliated with 2 different red light companies, Mito Red Light and Platinum LED. I'm not getting paid to make this section, and this is 100% my opinion and my views. That being said, the price point for red light, you can buy one for $50 to $100, but I'll tell you from my research, it most likely is not putting out near or far infrared. For the 2 companies I partnered with, Mito Red Light and Platinum LED, they third-party test their wavelengths to make sure you know you're getting the wavelengths you're paying for. So basing it off of their introductory panels, the initial investment is $300. At the $300 price point, that is a steal because you're getting more than just muscle recovery. You're getting a boost of energy from your mitochondria being supercharged at a cellular level. Your skin's gonna produce more collagen to help get rid of wrinkles and lines. With that mitochondria boost, your muscles are gonna regenerate faster from the added energy. So for the price of $300, that is an A tier item. You buy it, you own it, and it doesn't use that much electricity. For ease of use, it's immediately going in A tier because you only have to cut out 15 to 20 minutes of your day and sit or stretch in front of the panel so it can be integrated into what your recovery routine already is, but instead you're doing it in really cool red light that supercharges you like Superman. And then for effectiveness, red light therapy has actually been studied for over 20 years and it works. Lots of studies prove it. So from a scientific standpoint, red light therapy is very effective and is actually an S tier item. So if I take all my averages, we have our first A tier item because while the investment initially is expensive, it's still not as much as compression boots. The effectiveness is scientifically proven and the ease of use is as simple as sitting in front of it for 15 to 20 minutes a day. That's our first A tier item. We're on our last 3 items, almost on the home stretch. Lacrosse balls. For the price point, lacrosse balls cannot be beat. You can buy a lacrosse ball for $10 to $15 at pretty much any sporting goods store, anywhere. That price point is an S tier. Since getting a lacrosse ball and owning it forever and never breaking it is cheaper than buying a meal at McDonald's, that's an S tier item. For ease of use for lacrosse balls, that's also S tier. You can use a lacrosse ball practically anywhere. You can use it on your forearms, thighs, back, glutes, feet, neck. All you have to do is position your body against the wall or the floor and roll around on it. For effectiveness, it's also S tier. Lacrosse ball is very close to mimicking a massage therapist's elbow on a knot, especially when you put it right on top of the knot. It is very close to what a massage therapist does. The only difference is you're laying on top of the ball and it may be harder for you to relax, but it's still an S tier item. So, across all three categories, we have our first S tier. Lacrosse ball is the #1 recovery tool I tell everybody to buy. Moving on to foam rollers. For the price point of foam rollers, you can buy a super cheap one from TJ Maxx or Ross for 15 to 20 bucks, but I highly recommend you don't cheap out because those ones are usually made out of black plastic. And if you remember in the news a few months ago, they came out and announced that the black plastic has a lot of carcinogens and toxic chemicals, things you don't really want to rub all over your skin. So I recommend spending extra money on it and getting a foam roller made out of bamboo to avoid those chemicals and carcinogens. That takes your price point up to closer to $100 to $200, about the price of a really good massage. And for that price, and because you have to spend more to avoid chemicals, I'm going to rank it in an F tier. And as I go through this, you'll understand why that truly is an F tier. For ease of use, foam rollers are really limited to your back, your legs, and parts of your hips for foam rolling. And anybody who foam rolls will tell you it's very uncomfortable and very excruciating at times. So because of the limitations to the legs, hips, and back, I'm gonna have put the ease of use at a D tier. For foam rollers' effectiveness, it's gonna land in an F tier. And that's because most people are using their foam roller wrong, and foam rollers actually can put more tension and more irritation in tissues than remove them, especially if you're not using them correctly. So for averaging out my scores, foam rollers are 100% an F tier item. You have to spend too much to not work much of your body and not get true results. We're on our last item, percussion guns or massage guns. For the price point, you can buy a massage gun off of Amazon, again, for 20 bucks, but it's probably gonna break pretty fast. So I recommend spending anywhere from $80 to $200 on your massage gun. And that's just because it's gonna give you high quality and last you way longer and make your investment worth it. So at a price point of $100 to $200, I'm gonna put it around a B tier because there are other options that are cheaper, like the lacrosse ball. For ease of use, the percussion gun is incredibly easy to use. You turn it on and hold it to your body and you move it around, and that helps eliminate tension. It doesn't get much easier than that, except for compression boots, a sauna, and a red light therapy. So for ease of use, it's also gonna go in an A tier. For effectiveness of massage guns, that's also an A tier item. It would be an S tier, but you can overwork yourself pretty easily or inflame nerves with the percussion action of the percussion gun. So the only thing holding it back is it can be used incorrectly or used too much to a detriment. Averaging out its scores puts it right in between B and A tier, but I'm gonna move it up to A tier because the price point's solid, longevity's there, and the effectiveness is also there. So there's your professional and definitive recovery tool list. Everything on this list ranked from S to F. At S tier, we have a lacrosse ball. If you don't have a lacrosse ball, add it to your kit. Thank me later. Red light therapy and percussion guns at A tier, they're proven to work, they're easy to use, and they're not too expensive. Sitting at the B tier, we have compression boots, cold plunges, and those are just because the cost to entry or the maintenance is just a little too high for me to say everybody needs to do this. And then we have our traditional sauna in C tier, And the only thing holding back the traditional sauna to C tier and not B tier is the price to entry. And then at our C-, D+, we have TENS units or electrical stimulation units. The reason they're there is training is needed and other people are super helpful. Plus you have to buy more pads to keep using your own equipment. Hot stones landed in D tier for risk of burning yourself and other options being better, like hot pads or hot packs. And then our F tier items. Let me know in the comments if you thought either of these would land in F tier, and if you don't agree, let me know why. Cupping and foam rolling, both F tier. And that's just because cupping is really hard to do on yourself and doesn't have as much of a wide demographic that responds well to it. And foam rolling landed in F tier because you have to spend more money to avoid chemicals. It's just ineffective and it can cause more inflammation. So there you have it. Go out, buy your lacrosse balls, your percussion guns, and your red light panels. Those are what you need. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It helps the channel. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you're subscribed. I put out these videos to help you recover better. I'll see you guys in the next one. For now, just have a great day.